As I said, I do not believe David Wilcock would have taken his own life based upon his character and what he has said in the past about doing something like that. That said, I want to make it clear that I have questioned David Wilcock and Corey Goodman and all these other mainstream people in the so-called disclosure movement, because I believe it is most likely that they're part of the controlled disclosure. And simply because they're mainstream, first of all, why have they been allowed to do all this for so long? Why would suddenly all of these scientists and other people that are part of disclosure start disappearing and ending up, so, the way my brain works is I'm very skeptical, and I believe that this has been a controlled, planned event that would lead everyone to this ultimate alien agenda where there's a worldwide threat where one individual acts as a savior who steps up and saves everyone. And this most likely would be AI or someone who is in control of AI. It's not about whether or not there are other beings. Of course, there are other worldly beings. There are other beings all around us that we've never seen before in the ocean, in the sky, microscopic beings that you've never seen. And that's not the point. It's making such a big deal out of the alien that came here from some other planet on a spaceship. That's the bullshit part of this. Because, first of all, there is no getting on a spaceship and linearly traveling to another planet. And without getting into that, let me just say, even if you could do that, why would they do that, since they apparently have the technology to move through portals, wormholes, time travel, things like that? It doesn't make any sense. And why would they look like Nordic, blonde-haired, blue-eyed people? Now, a lot of people say, well, that's because we came from them. But if that were the case, they're not aliens. They're just us, right? But then you have to ask yourself, why have they been sitting here watching us suffer for so long? Why now? Why is it right now, when the masses have woken up and they're starting to rebel, as was predicted? Like, the elitists knew this would happen, right? Why now are they suddenly going, oh yeah, there are aliens and they're here, and there's going to be a war between the good aliens and the bad aliens? You see how that indicates this was planned. And we do know that von Braun said the last card that they would play would be the alien card. So, you just have to use your brain a little bit. Honestly, with all the things going on, people disappearing, and it turns out they may not have been unalived in the first place. I don't know if that's what really happened or not to David, but you can see that all these different scientists and people from the disclosure movement are disappearing. So to me, what that means is that they're getting ready to take this to the next level, trying to instill as much fear as possible, to bring down your energy as much as possible, to remove people that you looked up to, that you were following, and just to completely destroy your morale.